Hey, this is D. Here's the deal. I'm about to play Still Life 2. But I am so pissed off still about the ending of Still Life 1. And frankly, I know this game is supposed to be a direct sequel and finally answer the big nagging question from the first game. Who was the freaking killer? However, that means people who haven't seen or played Still Life 1 might not know what's going on. So, I'm going to do a short summary of it really quick. Yeah, let's do that. In Still Life 1, you play as Victoria McPherson. She's a detective tracking a serial killer. She has no leads, and it doesn't help that she is one of only 5 cops in Chicago, so she decides to just fuck off and go join her dad for Christmas. Her dad tells her that he has one of her grandfather's journals. This journal tells the story of how her grandfather, Gustav McPherson, tracks another serial killer in the 1920s Prague. After a few connections, it becomes clear that the current serial killer is actually a copycat of the one that her grandfather chased. It also becomes apparent that her grandmother was a prostitute. Okay. The killer in the past is Mark Ackerman. He manages to use his daddy's money to get off scot-free and have Gustav framed for all the murders. Gustav flees and decides, fuck this. In the present, Victoria is doing fucking nothing. She's so ineffective that the killer actually breaks into the police station to leave clues. How does she respond to this? By baking fucking cookies. After following in Grandma's footsteps for a while, though, she manages to control a robotic spider and break into her police station Cerebro. Okay. Upon finding out that her grandfather has the only surviving file from the original case, she tells her boss to fuck off because he's a dick, finds the clues, and then finally does something, although failing at it, as the next victim gets kidnapped and an innocent man, who was also a red herring, gets murdered. Looking at art for clues, she figures out a bullshit puzzle, and then shoots the killer, and then nothing happens. We never find out who the fucking killer is. Well, that's the gist of it. Now here's a quick thing. Because I don't know who the killer is, and I'm not sure if it's one of the characters that was in the story or not, I'm going to give my little speculation just so when I see it in the game, I can feel a bit better about myself. My number 1 suspect? Her boyfriend, Richard. Why? Because he seemed to really like Ackerman's paintings. Number 2? Her dad. It's kinda out there, but it's told in the story that the killer changed his MO in the most recent killings, and he only recently found the journals which gave more details about the Ackerman killings, so it makes sense. A little bit, at least. Third suspect is Miller, her partner that I didn't mention because he really does nothing in the story. The only reason he's a suspect is he would have access to the police station and wasn't around when he showed up in there. Yeah, not much to go on. Her boss is too much of a blatant dick to be a suspect. The only other possibility I can think of is the one prostitute that isn't accounted for in the 4 that are mentioned in the game itself, who could be the person in Ackerman's painting. Of course, it could also be the very obvious apprentice mentioned in one of the other paintings, who was never even named, so whatever. I don't count him as being part of the game because, well, it pretty much just screams killer right there. Oh well, that's it. I'll play this game now. Let's go. Damn! Nice music you got here, part 2. Shit! I am already intrigued.
McPherson.
Hi, Vic. It's Claire. So, how are things going in Los Angeles?
Hey, Claire. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm making any headway. I'm having a hard time establishing a link between all these killings.
You're obsessing over this. If you hadn't quit, you wouldn't be trying to put the pieces together all alone.
Don't start, Claire. I know you don't approve of my decision to leave the FBI. But working for an asshole like Browning? No, thank you.
Browning won't be here forever, you know. His decision to close the investigation after the mass killer's death wasn't welcomed by everyone in the Chicago Bureau.
I don't need to remind you that there's absolutely nothing to prove that the fucker's really dead. He fell in the water when I shot him. I know I hit him. As far as I've heard, his body was never found.
No, you're right about that. Of course you've got doubts. The water flowing under the Tomanova Bridge is ice cold. If your bullet didn't kill him, the cold water would have finished him off.
I'd love to be so sure. When I think of all the women he victimized.
Have you found any information on the first killer? The one who the Chicago murderer was supposedly copycatting? His name was Ackerman, I think?
Yeah, Mark Ackerman, son of Governor Herbert Ackerman. He was locked up in an asylum at the beginning of the 30s after 2 strings of murders. He was never officially found guilty. His father had him hospitalized to avoid the scandal, with the FBI's full cooperation. Corruption never goes out of style. Makes me sick.
And the retired inspector, Harrison, the one you wanted to see in California. Did you meet with him?
Yeah, he gave me the whole case file for the 1956 investigation. He's convinced that Mark Ackerman was behind this series of murders in Los Angeles.
Really? A killer who murders women over several decades, then a copycat who starts it all over again 50 years later? That's terrifying.
Yeah, but this case is personal, too. My grandfather got himself embroiled in it. He lost more than just his illusions. And I think that they made him a suspect. I want to find the truth for his sake, no matter what it costs me.
I hope you'll find what you're looking for, Vic. If I can help you in any way.
I have choices! Hell yes! It's about goddamn time!
Do you have any news on Mia, the killer's latest victim? Is she still in the hospital?
She's doing better. She's come out of shock. The doctors are optimistic she should be able to go home soon. I went by to see her yesterday. She's gonna leave Chicago. Too many bad memories.
Oh, don't do that with the sound. Too many games crash like that.
What's new at the FBI? Miller still having stomach trouble?
Uh-huh. He got sick at the New Year's potluck. Some joker put Tabasco in his salmon canapes. We haven't seen Browning much lately. He's distanced himself from the Bureau since your resignation. It doesn't change much anyway. He was never exactly close to his agents.
Yeah, you can say that again. The only place for an ice cube like that is in a glass of whiskey.
You know, maybe I really missed it. You said you were a special agent, but I don't remember you being part of the FBI in the first one. I could be way off. I don't know.
Where's the investigation at? Is anyone working on it since Browning cut the funding?
Officially, the killer is considered dead, so Browning closed the case. He seemed rather in a hurry to put that one to bed.
Obviously. There were some pretty well-placed people who used to frequent some of the girls who were killed. Browning's one of them. I wonder what he had to give up to bury the scandal. And I think that I used to work under him. Ugh, makes me sick.
Also, I know your voice is different. Not sure about Claire. Having just played the last one, it's really off-putting.
I hope Richard's not harassing you. He's left several messages on my answering machine.
He just called me to ask about Mia. He feels responsible for letting her go, giving the killer his opening.
I know, he's taking it hard. There's nothing to say that the killer wouldn't have taken him out to get his hands on Mia.
Anyway, he misses you, that's for sure. He's looking forward to you coming back.
I have one last favor to ask, Claire. A big one. I need access to the FBI's database.
For your research, huh? Wow, I'm playing fast and loose with the rules a lot lately.
I don't want to get you into trouble.
Don't worry about me. The access code was changed a few days ago. I'll check it out and text you, okay?
Thanks, Claire. I'll let you go now. Talk to you soon.
Whoa, you did it again. The same theme! Hell yes. I bet the theme will be, the new code will be whiskey. Alright, I better change the sound levels. Okay, that should be good. Now, New Vic. This has a lot more potential. Even though you're using the same music and, well, same exact story, and you've just fucked over two of my little suspects, and I really hope it's not your dad, I am really liking where this is going. Check this out. Oh, it's not pre-rendered.
The women represented in these paintings are Ackerman's victims.
Oh.
The women represented in these paintings are Ackerman's victims.
Okay, I can still skip with space. Sweet. And nothing else here. What's on the bed?
Well, let's try to review the clues we've got. I'll record my notes onto my smartphone while we go through them.
Are you going to review for me? Did I waste my time at the beginning of this?
The Los Angeles murders file. Harrison gave it to me. His conclusions differ from the official version.
Ooh, I gotta read this, don't I? Summary of the LA murders case. File compiled by Michael Harrison, LAPD inspector. Between December 1955 and March 1956, 5 prostitutes were found dead in Los Angeles side streets. They had each been stabbed and disemboweled. Their bodies had been mutilated and their hands and feet had been severed. See photos on the following pages. I don't think I want to. The murders took place without the witnesses and not a single revealing clue was found at the crime scenes. The press nicknamed the killer the Los Angeles Ripper and harshly criticized the incompetence of the police. The officer in charge of the investigation, Inspector Harrison, was under great pressure to apprehend the perpetrator quickly. Well, yeah, people are dying, but still, give the cop a break. On March 19th, 1956, a suspect was finally arrested, 27-year-old Harold Perrin. Perrin was a former patient of the Bromden Institute, a psychiatric hospital. According to the experts appointed by the police, he presented numerous symptoms of mental illness. He had nevertheless been released from the institute 2 years later, his mental state having been judged as satisfactory by the doctors. Ugh. Oh, at least they weren't closed this time. Ow. Oh, God, more. Harrison believed that Harold Perrin had acted under the influence of another man, Mark Ackerman, a psychologically unstable painter. His superiors did not support this theory. Ackerman himself died in a fire 2 days after Perrin's arrest. See newspaper article dated March 22nd, 1956. Oh, Ackerman's dead? And well, that takes care of the guy in the painting. But great, this is gonna be someone random, isn't it? Fuck. In the course of this investigation on the Los Angeles Ripper, Harrison had begun to suspect Ackerman. Noting similarities to old cases, Harrison contacted Gustav McPherson. That is not how he spelled Gustav. There was no E. A former private detective who had worked on one of these cases. McPherson sent him a very disturbing document, The Confessions of Herbert Ackerman, Governor of California and Mark Ackerman's father. In these confessions, Herbert Ackerman confirmed that his son was responsible for 2 series of murders, the first in Prague in 1929, and then in Chicago in 1931. Damn, man! Ackerman, confined since 1932 in the Bromden Institute, contained his criminal instincts for more than 20 years thanks to the care of Dr. Edward Kelly, but his true nature would end up getting the better of him. Not being able to leave the institution, Ackerman used a proxy to commit murders for him. Shit. After having gone to the institution several times to question Ackerman, Harrison discovered that the painter received frequent visits from Harold Perrin, a seemingly harmless young man who had spent 3 years in a clinic for minor mental disturbances. In the wake of Harold Perrin's arrest on March 19th, an announcement was made to the press. Perrin was presented as the main suspect in the case. Perrin collapsed on the evening of March 21st when he heard of Ackerman's death. He confessed to the crimes, but he did not incriminate the presumed mentor. No official charges were ever filed against Ackerman, although Harrison remained convicted of his role in the murders. Following Perrin's arrest and the death of Ackerman, the murders ceased. Harrison saw the paintings made by Ackerman prior to his confinement, paintings which, according to his hypothesis, were the motivation for his murders. He described them as sick and alarming, but embodying but embodying incredible force. This was not true of the paintings done by Ackerman during his long stay at the clinic. Harrison was convinced that he hadn't seen all of Ackerman's painting, particularly one which he was supposedly painted right before his death. Comment. A note on the file indicates that on February 2003, Harrison handed over Herbert Ackerman's confessions to one Emil Zarkovic, a journalist who claimed to be finishing a biography of Herbert Ackerman. Citing reasons of authenticity, the journalist left with the original documents, promising but failing to return them. That could be the fourth prostitute. Why would a prostitute want to murder other prostitutes for a prostitute killer? Well, these questions and more better be answered in this game.
Zarkovic. I know that name. Where have I heard it before?
No, Mia didn't know her name. I'm pretty sure of that. I hope I don't have to read anything else.
A newspaper clipping dated March 22nd, 1956. The article talks about a fire in the hospital where Mark Ackerman was committed.
Fun fact, March 22nd is my birthday. This clipping was kept by Harrison, a Los Angeles Times article. On the day of March 21st, a fire broke out at the Bromden Institute, a private clinic housing a psychiatric asylum, resulting in the deaths of 10 people. One of the institution's doctors, the famous Dr. Kelly, see photo next page, lost his life in the fire. Also among the victims was Mark Ackerman, the son of the governor of California, Herbert Ackerman. Committed for over 20 years, Mark Ackerman was one of Dr. Kelly's patients. The police strongly suspect him of being responsible for the disaster. The alarm was sounded by a nurse as she was returning from lunch. If I hadn't gone out to eat with my son Henry, I might have died too. Henry? Why does that seem familiar? Wait, nurse! Ooh, this could be important. Maybe. I don't know. The article adds that the nurse knew the presumed arsonist well, as she had been Dr. Kelly's assistant for many years, prior to being transferred to another department. She did not contradict the police suspicions. Yeah, that is definitely going to be important. Hey, you're the guy in the painting. She's probably the woman in the painting.
This nurse. She could certainly be linked to Ackerman. I've got to find out more info about her.
Alright, got a smartphone, something else. This or this. Why are you still here? And you. I don't like looking at pictures of dead bodies.
A brochure of the Ackerman exhibit organized by Richard. There are reproductions of paintings as well as some interesting information.
Mark Ackerman, Vision. The Valdez Gallery of Chicago has the honor of presenting an exhibit devoted to the works of Mark Ackerman to the public for the first time. An American painter who lived in the first half of the 20th century, Ackerman had numerous sojourns in Europe prior to settling in Los Angeles. The exhibit traces the different periods of the artist's turbulent life. Let yourself be carried away by the raw emotion that emanates from Mark Ackerman's paintings. The landscapes and the portraits skillfully mix dream and reality, the conscious and the unconscious, serenity and anxiety. The passion and creative force of this incredible yet unknown artist will move you deeply. The Valdez Gallery wishes to thank Gerald Carter, Fine Arts Director of Chicago University, and the instigator of this exhibit. The funds necessary for the acquisition of the works were raised with the support of the Labyrinth Foundation. Huh? Several paintings are reproduced in the brochure. Dr. Hyde, the pupil, Beatrice. Dr. Hyde, yeah. Pupil. Yeah, I knew it. But, really good foreshadowing with that one. I actually completely disregarded this picture. I probably shouldn't have.
The Labyrinth Foundation. That's the second time I come across them while I'm investigating. I think they have a website.
What? When did I encounter them again before? Was that in part 1? I don't... Next one. I hope this game is not a lot of reading.
A newspaper article, dated March 19th, 1956. It recounts the arrest of a suspect in the LA murders.
The LA Tribune article recounts the arrest of Harold Perrin, see photo on the next page, who could be the Los Angeles Ripper, the author of 5 murders which had taken place in the previous months. The victims were all young prostitutes. They had been horribly mutilated. Inspector Michael Harrison was the arresting officer. He had tailed Perrin and surprised him as he was spying on another young prostitute. Harold Perrin is at this hour being questioned by Inspector Harrison, who will later hold a press conference to inform citizens of any progress in the investigation. To finish the article, the journalist makes a comparison with Elizabeth Ann Short's death, 9 years earlier. The crimes of the Los Angeles Ripper equal in savagery the murder of the Black Dahlia. Is there a link between the two cases? Probably not. That's an actual murder. Wow. You look evil.
I doubt there's a connection between the two cases. Another idiot journalist greedy for a story.
I agree. And that should be everything I see here. But I'm going to take another pass because, well, I'm not missing shit again like I did last time. Unread message. How do I check my smartphone? Huh. Can I... Okay, where's my smartphone? Options. Okay, where's my smartphone? What? I have an inventory? Oh, of course I have an inventory. Can I just... What is this? Oh, this is like a charger, okay. Detailed objective. Messages. Oh, messages from... Let's read Richard's message first. Can I read... How do I... Okay. Code database... That. Okay, cool.
Hi, Vic. It's Richard. I miss you. I'm looking forward to you coming back to Chicago. Love you, sweetheart.
Your voice changed too. Did they get no one from the last game?
It's Richard. Well, I hope everything's going well in L.A. I was sad to spend New Year's Eve without you. Call me back soon.
Tell me I don't have to remember that. 96HA7MN. Okay. Next objective. What? Okay. Huh. Let me get out of this. Alright, escape just takes me to the... Wait, it was tab before, right? No? How do I use my inventory? How do I get online? How do I do anything? What's wrong with my camera? Oh. Well, that'll help. Nothing
The
else?
battery's dying. You better plug it in.
That's why I need the transformer. No, I actually think I... Wait a minute. Did I get the item? How do I use... Where's my inventory at? How do I access my inventory in this one? Oh! Just like last time, it's right click. What? Okay, I figured it out. Inventory. Use on this. I get skills? Alright. I can do this. Oh. Enter keywords for your search. Labyrinth. Let's check Labyrinth. Oh, God. Wait. The fuck? I am glad I did that all of a sudden. Founder, Mrs. Beatrice Allen. There was a painting named Beatrice. Okay. The goal of the Labyrinth Foundation is to preserve works of art and to promote young artists. Its activities are numerous: organizing exhibits, restoring old paintings, awarding scholarships and financial support, acquiring art objects for public display, providing legal help to appraisals. I didn't stop because of that word. I stopped because I just had a realization. That's Ackerman's kid. Her son is Ackerman's kid. We have our answer. I assume. The Labyrinth Foundation was created in 1961 by Mrs. Beatrice Allen, thanks to a donation by Herbert Ackerman, Governor of California and a lover of the arts. The foundation respects the confidentiality of artists and guarantees their rights to the works. The board of directors meets once a month at their New York headquarters. If you have any questions, please fill out your contact information on the site. Damn it. Yeah, I am 90% sure.
Herbert Ackerman, an art lover? And this Beatrice Allen? I must find out more about her.
Yeah, because she's probably... that's Ackerman's kid. I know that. That's gotta be Ackerman's kid. What are these buttons? Nothing. Okay. I know. Oh, there are so many names I gotta check. Beatrice. Oh. Beatrice Allen, founder and president of the Labyrinth Foundation, was born in 1912 in San Diego. Her father was a doctor and her mother a musician. From her mother, she inherited her taste and respect for the arts, a passion that would remain with her for the rest of her life. After studying nursing, she worked at various public hospitals before finding a position in the Bromden Institute, a private clinic treating the mentally ill. She stayed there for more than 20 years, distinguishing herself through her professionalism and her empathy towards patients. Upon becoming assistant to the clinic's lead doctor, she launched new care programs involving the arts. I need to learn to read. In 1956, Beatrice Allen left the clinic to devote herself fully to art. In 1958, she was made the main beneficiary of Governor Ackerman's estate. Definitely! Fuck. She invested a large part of the inheritance in the arts, and a few years later created the Labyrinth Foundation, which she ran until her death. Beatrice Allen had a son, with whom she did not get along. In 1985, he was killed in a car accident. Beatrice became the guardian of her grandson, who was her greatest happiness during the last years of her life. Beatrice Allen died in New York in 2002. Her immense art collection is managed by her foundation. Well, it's not the son who's the killer, it's probably the grandson who's the killer. Who is of unknown age. Damn! Good taste, Ackerman. I'll give you credit where credit's due.
Beatrice Allen is the woman painted by Ackerman on one of his paintings. I'm sure of that. I need more info. Her son may be another interesting lead to follow, but I'd need his full name.
Well, let's check Ackerman. Born in Chicago to a wealthy and politically engaged family, Herbert Clark Ackerman displayed leadership qualities at an early age. An only child, he lost his parents at the age of 12. He went out to live with his uncle in Oregon. He was employed in his uncle's company and sent to Stanford University to pursue a degree in engineering. In 1905, he married the daughter of a San Francisco banker. A year later, his son Mark was born. Unfortunately, his wife was killed during the earthquake that devastated San Francisco. He remarried 9 years later to a young French woman. Working abroad frequently, he was in England when the First World War broke out. Gradually, he abandoned his engineering work for a diplomatic career. For more than a decade, he held a series of diplomatic posts, taking his son with him to various countries in Europe and Asia. At the end of 1929, he returned to the United States and lived for a time in Chicago. 3 years later, he moved to Los Angeles, where he finally settled. It was in California that his political career finally took off, and he was elected governor of California in 1949 and re-elected in 1953. He died of cancer in Los Angeles a year after the end of his second term. That's sad. Jesus! He looks just as evil. Who would elect that guy? You got nothing to say about him, huh? Okay. Let's check out a meal. Hungarian painter born in 1862, died in 1904. A discreet figure, Zarkovic was also known in artist circles as a fine pianist, pale and gaunt. He was nicknamed the white-fingered pianist by Frank Liszt. A member of the Hungarian Symbolist School, that name is screwing with me. Zarkovic preferred dark subjects. The painting Death of the Young Girl is considered his masterpiece.
That painter's been dead a long time. The journalist must have given a false name.
Really? Oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And lastly, Marky. And the event. Oh yeah, this is it. Valdez Gallery. I'll just look for a reporter. I already read this. Yeah, it's already there. Hey, paintings, cool. Nothing useful. Alright. Scully! I could be dumb, but let's be smart about this. Ooh, I can search the database. Ah, okay. Beatrice Allen's son was named Henry Allen. Unless he was married. Alright. We're gonna check out Henry Allen. First name's Henry. Of course! Of course. Yeah. Wait. Can I scroll down? I can! Alright. Insurance fraud. Domestic violence. Allen was the partner of Maria Angelica Valdez. Richard... God damn it! Maybe... I was on the money. I was on the freaking money.
A son named Richard. Shit, that can't be true. This can't be a coincidence.
I'm not here at the moment, but you can leave a message.
Jesus Christ, Richard. If you're that nurse's grandson, why didn't you ever tell me? I have to get back to Chicago right away and get to the bottom of this.